Hey guys, Coops here from the Whole Box and Dice, and we've just finished Swiss. We're now in the top 8 of the Pro Tour. 6 out of 8 decks are Mardu vehicles, and if you guys called that, then you guys get the biggest golden star because no one else did. Control certainly couldn't. I don't know if Control's just a little bit too slow for the meta at the moment, but it certainly struggled mightily at the Pro Tour. What didn't struggle was Green Black Delirium and Green Black Counters. Those decks were just as filthy as advertised. And even with the bans of Emrakul and Smuggler's Copter, both Mardu and Green Black seem to still be able to function pretty well. Obviously, Mindrack Demon and Grimflayer picking up the slack for the Green Black decks, with Heart of Quran, Aether Harvester, and the additions of things like Spire of Industry and Shock stepping in for Mardu vehicles. Crazy thing is, though, the banning of the uncommon Reflector Mage has completely obliterated Blue-White Flash. No Blue-White Flash anywhere. Obviously, there was the Aether Revolt cards as well, and there wasn't probably anything of value to add to that deck, but completely gone. We did see some cool stuff. There was a Wearing Invention Paradoxical Outcome deck. That was pretty cool. I saw some black-red aggro decks with the World-Fast Engineer, which, props to that. That was quite clever. But the deck that we will be cheering on the most in the top 8 is not going to be one of these 6 Mardu vehicle decks. We'll be going after Martin User, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, Martin, and your Jund Energy deck, because that looks super fun. A little bit of synergy with each pocket of the deck in true Jund fashion. Just play the best cards across those 3 colours and just be super hard to beat. So fingers crossed, first matches against the Mardu vehicles deck, so it won't be an easy path to get through to number 1, but here's fingers crossed. He's hoping that we see Martin playing in the final there. Really interesting, that things like Heart of Quran and Aether Harvester have been able to slot so easily in for the Mardu decks, and I think you'll see that in the pricing as well. I think you'll see that reflected with the fact that Heart of Quran is definitely going to hold its price. It'll probably rise a little bit, and it's not going to drop off anytime soon. And then you've got Aether Harvester, which is already raised a little bit, and I think that'll pick up a couple of extra points, and that'll hold out pretty steadily there. So some interesting, replacements for some of the bans, and obviously in some other cases just a complete removal of that deck from the meta. So, but what else is out there? Copycat did very well. There was a lot of them, notably Jeskai and 4-Color. Interestingly enough, that they're none in the top 8 though. So what that kind of says for the ban, I don't think we'll see Felidar ban, just because the combo isn't strong enough to knock off the tier 1 decks. So I think Saheela's will probably remain at the same price, probably even drop down a little bit, just because it's not competitive enough to take out the decks that we're seeing in the top 8 and even top 16 as well. So look, one Pro Tour is a small sample size, but we'll see. I think that'll probably remain in standard, and that'll just expire when the timeline dictates. So we'll see with Saheeli and Jeskai, Copycat, and 4-Color. One of the things that I did see though, which I did just want to touch on quickly, is there was the judging call. I'm sure you guys have seen this if you're watching the stream or on Reddit or even just on the MTG website. They released some comments about it because there was a few examples of cheating as well in the Pro Tour and some of the drafts, and even just hand size. It's just some crazy stuff that I can't believe people haven't picked up on. But crewing vehicles before or after going to combat, so the attacker has moved to combat, and there was some language stuff here which is pretty shitty, because if your opponent doesn't have a firm grasp of the English language and you've kind of manipulated that, then you're a bit of a dick. But just remember, guys, game day's coming up. Make sure you are animating your vehicles into creatures before going to combat, because obviously as a defender you can do it in response, but once you're attacking and once you move to the attack step, then you can't then make a creature into a vehicle. So sorry, a vehicle into a creature. So just be wary of that. But what do I think is going to happen? I definitely think the Mardu vehicle decks are going to come out 1 and 2, unfortunately. There's a couple of interesting builds in them. Some of them run a few more Harvesters and Qurans than others. So I think the Battle in the Air will be probably the most notable here, especially getting that bit of lifelink back as well. Most of them play things like Scrap Heap Scrounger, so there'll be a lot of times where they'll have creatures up that won't be able to block. So I think the games will be fast and there'll be a lot of damage. And maybe that's why Control is struggling a bit at the moment, short of a mono blue Control that maybe has like a soft mill sub archetype as a win con is maybe the only thing that can function at the moment. But I think blue black, not improvise, but blue black counters could could be could be an interesting one. You have access to grasp and murder, and obviously fatal push, and then you've got all those excellent blue counter spells, and probably doesn't run something like Tezzeret or really any big finishes, maybe some flash on torrential gear hulks, but I still think game day you'll see some responses to these Mardu decks that have done so well in this Pro Tour. But that's it for us, guys. Just wanted to do a quick video just to recap where we're up to. I'll try and check in during the last 8 decks as they progress through, and a bit of a recap once hopefully Martin comes out on top. So I'll be pretty happy if I get to make that video soon. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.